Hello everyone, thank you for joining me once again at Evolutionary Energy Arts. What you are looking at is what used to be a plantation home in Union, South Carolina, and is now a converted bed and breakfast. It is known as the Inn at Merridun. And this place is haunted. And I could state that as a fact because I've actually stayed there myself overnight as part of a paranormal investigative group that I belong to. From 2008 until 2010. It was called Eastern States Paranormal Society, and we did an investigation here. The owner of the inn let us have it entirely to ourselves. Nobody else was in the house at all besides us. There were 7 of us investigators there. We had all sorts of equipment, and we spent the night there, and it was eventful, for sure. And this is knowitall.org, and here you can read about the Inn at Merridun, Ghosts and Legends. So it was built in 1855 by the mayor of Union, and in 1900 the house was named the Merridun. The house was bought in 1990, and the owner started working on it in 1992. They started seeing a lady in a gray dress, and they began finding shiny pennies all over the floor. Footsteps are heard upstairs. They had a clairvoyant visit and identified 10 energy forces in the house. Some of the ghosts include children, Native Americans, a mammy, a white dog, and a lady named Margaret. The cat, JD, used to carry on conversations with some entity, changing the intonation of his voice throughout their long conversations. It is thought that JD might still be around, making sure the innkeeper is doing her job. Upstairs in the sister's room, there is an entity that stands in the bathroom door. Most people say they have never felt frightened and that all the house spirits are actually good. We had a lot of interesting things happen here. We were in the dining room, and we would constantly hear things moving in the kitchen. And then when we go to investigate, they would stop. And then we'd step back out, and you'd hear drawers opening and closing and things shuffling around. And then we'd go back in, and they would stop. We set up a camera, and we didn't get anything on the camera. But we did get many EVPs, and electronic voice phenomenons, where you could hear things moving. As well as throughout the night, we did actually get voices on the EVPs that were incredibly clear. Going through the rooms, I was the only one that was not with their partner. So I stayed in a room called Lucy's Garden Retreat. And these are the different rooms and how much it costs to stay in them. And this is where I stayed, Lucy's Garden Retreat. And this was, for me, the most eventful experience of the night. It was about 4:30 when we wrapped up our session, going through, and we were really excited because we had so many cases of having things caught on both EVPs and then also different electromagnetic phenomenon that would show up, spiking our readings, showing us that something was in the room. We had one time it was in the dining room when the temperature dropped 5 degrees while we were just standing there. And it wasn't the air conditioning kicking on or anything like that. We were not able to duplicate the temperature drop again after that one time. The sisters boudoir, friends of mine that were a husband and wife part of the team, stayed there. And they kept feeling, both of them, somebody coming and tickling them on the nose in order to wake them up. Kind of playful, but it happened numerous times during the night. And they would turn on the light looking for a mosquito, looking for spiders, and they never saw anything. They just kept feeling the tickling on the nose, like somebody was just putting their finger under their nose trying to get their attention. But back to what we had at Lucy's Garden Retreat. We had set up to set a camera in there because it was one of the most It had some of the most interesting phenomena occur in that room. So we set up a camera on a tripod, left it rolling, and then we went downstairs. And then when we came back upstairs, about a half hour later, the camera was off the tripod, and the tripod was neatly folded and put right on the side of the door. We didn't get anything recorded. When we played it back, it just simply was as if the camera turned off, and then somebody had taken the camera off the tripod and folded it at the side of the door. So that was very, very curious. Me and the lead investigator sat in the room, and we could feel and sense there was an energy in there. So we were asking it various questions while recording. And then later on, when we played back the tape, we could hear ourselves talking, and we could hear this like African tribal chant in a deep male voice that kept saying the same sort of thing over and over. It could have been Native American, but it felt definitely more African. And that was really, really curious. But at 4:30, when we had concluded our investigation, I sat on the end of the bed, and without taking my clothes off, I just plopped down because I was tired. I had worked a normal job earlier, and it was 4:30, so I had been up many, many hours at that point. So I just plopped down with my feet still on the ground, and just lay down there on the bed. And all of a sudden, pretty much right away, I felt the bed depressed by my right knee, and then depressed by my left knee. Then it depressed by my right hip, and then it depressed by my left hip, as if something with substantial weight had just climbed on top of the bed. And then I felt a warmth, like a warm body lying right on top of me. And without opening my eyes, I just simply stated, "I feel you," and then it just stopped. And so the rest of the night, I did go back to sleep, although I'll admit I left the lights on after that. That was very, very interesting. The thing that struck me as the most interesting was that it was like a warm body. With spirits before in the past, they've always felt cold to me. You feel a cold chill in the room. And when a spirit usually comes and settles in on top of you, it's always cold. I've never experienced the warmth like that. So that was very, very interesting and very curious. Down in the Governor's Galley area, we took some photos. We actually took a group photo of us, and it was so neat that you could see all of us in the group there, and then you could see a face in the window. And the face in the window looked remarkably like the governor that built, the mayor that built the inn itself. Of course, that was like 100 years ago. So that was really pretty wild. But we had so many cases of catching voices on the recorders that were not our own, of the African chanting, of the different experiences. It was just a very, very full night. Never did I feel like anything was evil. That is true. It never felt like there was any dark energy here, but there was definitely a lot of energies here. And these are some of the rooms. So if you really want to go and check out an actual haunted house that I guarantee you is truly haunted, go to the inn at Merridun, and it's in Union, South Carolina. I would hardly recommend it. It is actually a beautiful place, and I do plan on going back again. So, thank you once again for joining me at Evolutionary Energy Arts. Please, if you liked the video, hit like and subscribe for more videos coming up, and share with your friends. Thank you so very much. Take care.